It is a Sunday, a little after 9 at night. The house has that cleaned-up, waiting for Monday quiet that makes a man feel older than his actual years. You are on the edge of the couch. The remote is in one hand. Your phone is face down on the cushion beside you, because you already know if it lights up, it will not be who you actually want it to be. The television is on, but you are not watching it. There is a plate on the coffee table you have been meaning to carry to the sink for an hour. And you are doing the thing you do now, the thing nobody taught you had a name. You are doing the math. You are calculating how many more Sundays you have left, how many more of these exact rooms you will sit in, how many years of nights where the loudest thing in the house is the refrigerator humming in the dark. You take a breath that goes in a little too deep, like your ribs are trying to make room for something that does not fit anymore. And here is the part you do not say out loud. Not to your kid, not to the guys at work, not to the brother you have not called in a year. You want somebody. You do. Not a headline, not a highlight reel, just a woman across a table who actually sees you. And somewhere along the way, you decided you were not allowed to want that anymore. Too old, too tired, too much history, too much gut, too much scar tissue. So you turned the phone face down, told yourself you were taking time, and let another Sunday pass with the plate still on the table. You put the remote down. You do not say a word about it. To anybody. Here is what nobody is telling you, brother. The reason getting a girlfriend after 40 feels impossible is not because women stopped liking men our age. It is because we walked into it carrying 6 things we were never supposed to question. 6 ways of showing up that made sense when we were 28 and have not worked since. Nobody warned us. And now we are sitting on couches on Sunday nights blaming our faces and our years, when the real problem is a script we have been running for so long we forgot it was a script. There are 6 of them. 6 things men our age keep doing that quietly kill any real shot at a real woman. And the last one, the 6th, is the one costing you the most. I am Vincent Brooks. I am 56. I am not a guru. I am not a dating coach. I do not have letters after my name, and I am not going to sell you a supplement or a 7-step system. I have just been on both sides of this. The marriage that went quiet. The year I spent scrolling and pretending I was not lonely. The coffee dates where I acted like a man half my age and wondered why nobody stayed. I quit playing along a few years back. I started saying the things men our age are not supposed to say out loud. That is the whole resume. By the end of the next few minutes, you are going to see all 6. You are going to see which one you are running right now. And you are going to see the simple thing that flips it, starting tonight, not someday. The last one is going to sting a little. That is the one that frees you. Do not click off and go back to pretending. Stay with me. Here is what you were never told. The reason you feel like a man with no shot is not your age. It is not your body. It is not the market. It is not women today. It is a script. You have been running a script. The script that said work harder and the rest sorts itself out. The script that said provide and love shows up as the reward. The script that said, keep your head down, do not make it weird, do not need too much, do not ask, do not want, do not disappoint anybody, and one day when you have earned enough and fixed enough and endured enough, life will finally hand you the woman you deserve. They lied. The people selling that script never stopped selling it. Because a man who is still striving and still scared and still waiting for someday is a man who keeps paying. Paying with his time. Paying with his nights. Paying with the person he could have been sitting across from tonight. And here is the part nobody says out loud. You do not get the years back. There is no later. The Sundays are a number now. The good ones, the ones where your knees still work and your laugh still comes easy and a woman across a table can still be surprised by you, that number is smaller than you have been letting yourself think. Not to scare you, to wake you up. The clock is not your enemy. The clock is the only honest thing left in the room. It is not counting down to the end. It is counting down to how long you have got to stop wasting it on a script that never had your interests in mind. That is what the clock is actually saying. So the question was never, how do I get a girlfriend after 40? You have been asking the wrong question your whole midlife. The real question is, what am I still doing that is making a real woman impossible to meet, impossible to want me, impossible to stay? Once you hear that question, you cannot unhear it. That is the door. 6 things on the other side of it. Number 1, you are chasing a woman who does not exist anymore. You know what you did. You opened the app and set the filter to 32 to 41. You saw a woman your actual age and you swiped left without thinking. And then you sat there on your couch, 56 years old, with a bad knee and a divorce behind you, wondering why the women these days will not give you a chance. You want somebody who looks like the woman you could not get when you were 30, and you told yourself that was standards. I knew a guy, call him Dave, 54, recently single, solid job, decent looking, not a bad man. Dave had a picture in his head. He was going to date a woman 10 years younger, maybe 12, because that is what he earned, he said. Dave spent 3 years chasing that picture. 3 years of dead-end coffees, ghosted texts, women who used him for a dinner and vanished. Meanwhile, a woman he actually got along with, 52, funny, direct, actually interested, asked him out and he passed because she was not what he pictured. She is married now, to somebody else. Dave is still swiping, still 54 in his head, still passing on the real thing while hunting a fantasy that never wanted him back to begin with. 3 years chasing a picture. One woman who would have stayed. The woman in your head is not a woman. She is a receipt, proof to some ghost of a father or an old friend that you still got it. A real woman your age has lived. She has scars. She has children, exes, opinions, a whole spine. She is not going to make you feel 28. She is going to make you feel seen. That is better. That is the thing you actually want and forgot to name. Stop hunting a photograph. Meet a person. You are not shallow. You were trained. Every magazine, every movie, every locker room told you what a man gets. You ran the script. Seeing it is the win. Put the picture down. That is the warm-up. The next one is the one men actually fight me on. Number 2. You are performing instead of showing up. You know how you get before a first date. You suck your gut in. You practice your lines in the truck. You have 3 stories rehearsed. The one that makes you sound impressive, the one that makes you sound funny, the one that makes you sound wise. And you sit across from her and you perform. And she asks a real question and you deflect with a joke. And she leaves, polite, and does not text back. And you tell yourself it is her loss. There was a guy I knew, Marcus, 51. Marriage ended after 20 years of quiet. First year single, he was a wreck. Spent the whole year taking time, which mostly meant scrolling and telling himself no woman would want him unless he showed up as a highlight reel. Finally, he answered a message from a woman who asked him a direct question. No games, no flirt speak, just a real question. He almost canceled 3 times, showed up anyway. And the second she asked what he actually wanted out of his life, he stopped performing. Just told her. Tired, divorced, wanted something real. Did not dress it up. did not punch above his weight class. She stayed. They are still together 2 years later. One honest sentence. One woman who stayed. Directness is safer than performance in midlife. Say it back to yourself. Directness is safer. Because performance at 56 does not fool anybody, including you. She can smell the rehearsed line before you are done saying it. What lands at our age is not the highlight reel. It is the man who stopped auditioning. The man who says the plain thing. I am tired. I like you. I am not sure what I am doing, but I know I would rather be honest than clever. That is the sentence that changes rooms. You are not fake. You were coached. Every man in your life taught you performance was safer than nakedness. It is not. Not now. Drop the act. That is the win. All right, this next one is where a lot of guys are living right now, and they do not know it. Number 3. You are using dating as distraction, not connection. Here is the tell. You open the app at 10:47 on a Wednesday night. You do not actually message anybody, you just swipe. 15 minutes of swiping, thumb moving, dopamine ticking. Then you close it. Nothing happened. Nothing was supposed to happen. You were not looking for a woman. You were looking for something to do with the hour. And you would rather scroll strangers than sit alone with the sound of your own house. Do not lie about that one. I have done it too. Guy named Cal, 52, made sarcasm into a religion. Every time somebody asked how he was, he had a joke. Every date was a stand-up set. He was not looking for connection. He was looking for a distraction that felt more socially acceptable than the bottle. One night, a woman asked him, dead serious over dinner, "Cal, do you actually want company, or do you just want distraction?" He got mad, because she was right, and he knew it. He went home, sat in the dark, and finally admitted he had been treating dating like a video game, because sitting with himself was unbearable. Cal did not become soft, he became honest. The next woman he dated, he was not performing distraction. He was there. She is still there too. The mask costs more than the pain ever did. The mask costs more than the pain. Write that one down. You cannot swipe your way out of loneliness. You can only distract yourself from it long enough to postpone the reckoning. Real company starts with you being able to sit in your own kitchen alone without needing to blur the edges. If you cannot be with yourself, you cannot be with anybody. That is not a slogan. That is math. And do not go back to pretending after this. You are not addicted. You are anesthetized. There is a difference. And you were taught to anesthetize because feeling was inconvenient to the machine. Feeling is not weakness. Numbing is. Wake up. Now here is one that is going to bite. Because most men our age do not even know they are doing it. Number 4. You are being useful instead of being reachable. You meet a woman. Second date, third date, things are going okay, and you slide right into the role you have been running for 30 years. You fix her car door. You give her advice about her boss. You solve. You handle. You provide. And when she tries to ask you something real, how you are actually doing, what you actually miss, what scares you at 3 in the morning, you deflect. Because being useful feels safe. Being reachable feels like standing naked in traffic. Eddie, 53, famous for saying yes. Yes to shifts, yes to favors, yes to being the guy who handles it. Built his whole identity around indispensable. Dated a woman for 6 months after his divorce. She left. Told him kindly to his face, "Eddie, I do not know you. I know what you do. I do not know who you are." He was gutted. He had shown up every date, fixed everything, solved everything, driven everywhere. Never once told her about the empty kitchen table, the dead father, the son who would not call. He mistook being needed for being known, and she could not fall in love with a task list. Full calendar, empty table. That was Eddie's whole life until he learned to sit down and actually say something. Being needed is not the same as being known. Say it slowly. A woman worth staying for does not want your resume, your handiness, or your ability to fix her dryer. She wants your inner weather. She wants the thing you are not saying. And the trick you have been running, where you disappear into function so you never have to be seen, that is the wall she keeps hitting. Take it down, one honest sentence at a time. Tell her something true. See what happens. You are not cold. You were trained to hide behind competence. Every man who raised you did the same thing. It is not a character flaw. It is inherited armor. Set it down. Here is a big one. This one shows up on the third date, and men blame the woman when it detonates. Number 5. You are carrying the last one into the next one. You are at a good dinner with a good woman, and she says something, nothing bad, just something, and you feel your jaw tighten, because it sounded, for 1 second, like her. Your ex. The one who left. The one who stayed and made you wish she had left. And you are not on this date anymore. You are in a fight from 2011. And this new woman does not even know she is suddenly on trial for a crime somebody else committed. And you swore you were not going to do this again. Guy named Ray, 57. Not the exact same situation, but the same disease. Ray held a grudge against his brother for 11 years over something that, if he told it plain, kept sounding smaller every year. He fed that grudge like a pet. It made him feel like a man with principles. Then his brother had a stroke. By the time Ray decided to reach out, the voicemails were gone and the apology had nowhere to land. 7 years of silence. One phone call he never got to make. Ray carried an old wound into every room for a decade and called it standards. Same thing you were doing on that third date, brother. You are not on a date. You are prosecuting a ghost, and the woman across from you is paying the bill. The grudge is not loyalty. It is a leash. Every unresolved wound you drag into a new woman's kitchen is a leash tied to somebody who is not even in the room. And you cannot love somebody new with your hands full of somebody old. You do not have to forgive on command. You do not have to pretend it did not happen. You just have to stop making the woman in front of you pay rent on damage she did not cause. That is it. That is the whole move. You are not bitter. You were wounded and never given the tools to metabolize it. That is not a character defect. That is an unfinished sentence. Finish it, then set it down. Not tomorrow, now. All right, this is the last one. This is the one I told you would cost the most. Sit up. Number 6. You are waiting for the right time, and the right time is a lie. Here it is, the big one, the one I promised would sting. You keep saying, someday. Someday when you lose the 15 pounds. Someday when the divorce is more settled. Someday when the kid is out of the house. Someday when work slows down. Someday when you feel ready. And someday has been on your calendar for 4 years now. It has its own room in your head. It has furniture. And a woman who could have loved you walked past that door 6 times while you were getting ready. Nate, 59. Same disease as most of us. Nate was the king of maybe next year. Maybe next year he would try dating again. Maybe next year he would call his daughter. Maybe next year he would move out of the town that had gotten too small. He turned postponement into a personality. Then a note came from a coworker who had been planning to retire soon and never made it there. A final, tragic decision nobody saw coming. Nate sat in his truck reading that note twice. Then he drove straight to the coffee shop his daughter worked at and asked if she would have dinner with him that night. Not next week. That night. It was not dramatic. It was just not later. Maybe next year, then never. He learned the difference the hard way. Someday is where good lives go to die. That is the whole sermon. There is no ready. There is no perfect weight, perfect job, perfect emotional state, perfect version of you that finally deserves a woman across a table. The man you are tonight, tired, scarred, 56, watching Sunday collapse into Monday, that is the man who has to walk through the door. Not the future you. Him. There is no later. There never was. There is only what you do this week. You are not lazy. You are not a coward. You were sold a fantasy called Someday, and you paid for it with years. Seeing it is the win. Do not buy another one. Not weak, not behind, not done. That is the 6. Now let me tell you what to do with them. Look at what you just heard. 6 things. Chasing a fantasy woman. Performing instead of showing up. Using dating as distraction. Being useful instead of reachable. Dragging old wounds into new kitchens. Waiting for a someday that was never coming. 6. But they are not really 6. They are 1. They are one thing wearing 6 different hats. And the one thing is this. You have been trying to meet a woman while running a script that requires you to be somebody other than yourself. A younger self, a polished self, a useful self, a distracted self, a future self, a wounded but hiding it self. Every one of those scripts is you saying in some small voice, the actual me is not enough. And I am here to tell you the actual you, the man sitting on that couch on a Sunday night with a plate on the coffee table and a phone face down, the actual you is more than enough. He is the only version of you that any real woman is going to be able to love, because he is the only one that is real. The polished version is fiction. The performing version is fiction. The someday version is fiction. She cannot fall in love with a fiction. Nobody can. That script you have been running, work harder, want more, wait for someday, it was never built to make you happy. It was built to keep you paying. Paying with your evenings, paying with your dating years, paying with the person you could have been holding tonight. And every man our age is still writing checks to it, every Sunday, on couches, alone. You just stopped paying. That is the whole shift. That is what this video was. That is what quit playing along means. You did not fail at love after 40. You ran a script that guaranteed you would. And the second you set it down, the game changes. Now I'm going to be straight with you. I am not telling you it is fixable overnight. I am not telling you a woman is going to walk into your life on Tuesday because you watched this video. Some of the years are gone. Some of the chances are gone. Some women who could have loved you already walked past because you were not ready to be seen. I would be lying if I told you otherwise. This is not a magic key. It is not a hack. It is just the truth about why the door has not been opening, and about the fact that the door is still there. That is it. That is what I have got. And that is more than the script ever gave you. You do not get the years back, but you get the rest of them. And the rest of them start on a Sunday night, that couch, that phone face down, The moment you decide the man in that room right now is the man who gets to walk through the door. Not the version that lost 15 pounds, not the version who healed everything. Him, tired, scarred, 56, real. That is the man a real woman actually stays for. That is the whole secret. Quit handing the years over. Someday is a graveyard. Hear me before you close this. You are not failing. You are not behind. You are not too old, too broken, too far gone, too much history, too much scar tissue, too tired, too used up. You woke up. That is what just happened here. Most men our age never do. They die running the script. That heavy feeling you have been carrying on Sunday nights, that was not your failure. That was the lie wearing thin. That was the first honest thing they could not sell you. You are not late. You are right on time. The clock that scares you is the same clock telling you to start. Today, not someday, not weak, not behind, not done. Tell me below, which one of these 6 are you still running? Say it plain, do not dress it up. Number 1, number 2, number 6, all of them. No speech, no confession, no excuse, just the number and the truth. Your honesty in that comment section might be the thing that frees another man scrolling past this at 10:47 on a Wednesday night with his thumb going. I am not going to beg you to subscribe. If this was real for you, you already know whether to walk this road with me or not. The choice was always yours. Next time, I'm going to tell you about the handful of people you may need to quietly step back from before 60. Yeah, sometimes even the ones you are related to. And how to do it without turning bitter. Boundaries, not war. That one is coming. Put one of the 6 down this week. Send the message, take the coffee, drop the picture in your head. The script can run without you for a day. I will be right here.